Now here's something to send dirty toilets down the drain. New hygiene standards for public toilets will kick in from April next year.
Operators will need to adopt at least one smart solution to qualify for 4 stars. It's been 16 years since star ratings were introduced to increase cleanliness. Deborah Wong with more.
Flush away old standards and in with the new. This is how a 5-star rated toilet at Bukit Panjang Integrated Hub looks like. It's clean and it doesn't reek, thanks to these odor eliminators. Now this 2-in-1 tap, which also doubles up as a dryer, saves space and prevents water from dripping all over the floor, so cleaners don't have to come by every so often to clean up messes. Now all these to optimize manpower and improve energy savings.
With tech like that, SMRT is one of the early adopters of a new criterion in the rating system, which calls on operators to introduce at least one smart solution under the detect, feedback, eliminate and clean requirements. This means sensors and feedback systems should be installed to monitor and plug any defects. Toilets should also come with tools that eliminate odor and enhance energy savings, but SMRT hopes to do more.
If we adopt more people counter, we can actually direct the service only when there are, say, many people coming in, so we need to increase the frequency of cleaning. Then when there's a feedback system, so we know that, let's say, there are feedback particular to certain area that we're not doing well, the moment we receive the feedback, we'll act on it faster. So this will actually optimize the way we deploy manpower.
Smart solutions increase productivity as defects problems are quickly detected and the cleaning companies are kept automatically informed, through your WhatsApp, for instance, messaging. With real-time information, the restroom attendants and the maintenance crew can be more effectively deployed. So this will allow for timely resolution of issues and cost savings in the long term, as well as to address our manpower constraints.
Today, there are nearly 1,300 toilets that are certified with good standards, which meets the minimum 3-star rating, up from 860 in 2014. But Dr. Kaur added that it takes the collective effort of users and owners to cultivate civil attitudes. That's key to upholding quality hygiene standards.
So Deborah's report is a perfect segue to our look at World Toilet Day and Singapore's Science Centre's new Know Your Poo exhibition. The interactive exhibition puts a fun spin on the topics of human waste and sanitation.
Not just that, it also gives insight on why toilets are important for human health, the economy and societal progress as well. And to flush out more details, yes, pun very much intended, we have with us in studio today Professor Lim Tit Meng, Chief Executive of the Science Centre Board. Thank you, Professor Lim, for coming in and talking us through this subject. Firstly, what's the inspiration behind it?
Well, Science Centre is always looking for an interesting angle to bring out the importance of science, technology, engineering and maths. And we thought that one important topic is about sanitation, about pools, about waste. And if you think about it, it's not just about toilets per se. There's a lot of biological sciences because it is part of our biological functions and the technology behind sanitation. And it is important for us to understand this, especially when Singapore has progressed. We are celebrating bicentennial. And you look at Singapore history, the toilet has evolved over time. I mean, when I was young, there was no flushing toilet, for example. So we thought it's an important topic, and we also want to break the taboo about talking about poo.
Right. Speaking of breaking the taboo, why is it important to do so? And how will this exhibition actually help us break this taboo on the topic of poo?
Well, it is something that we have to face daily, and we know that
for some people more than once a day.
Exactly. and also, if you think about it, if there's no proper sanitation treatment, it can affect the whole ecosystem, the food supply chain, and so on and so forth. And today is World Toilets Day. And you know that there are places where there are no toilet sanitation and people die of death because of diarrhea and things that are affecting their so-called poo routines.
So this actually covers all from the very start then,
yes.
From like the biology of it all the way to the sanitation
So
process.
we're looking at some of the pictures now.
Yes.
So this is what we'll see when we're at the Science Centre. And what will we learn as well? You mentioned there are different zones?
Yes, the different zones. There are zones about our own digestive system. And also there are zones about how we treat the waste, what happened after the toilet is flushed. And also the history, like now you're seeing on screen, the history of how Singapore treats our waste from the early days where there was no flushing, it's a night soil bucket system, to now we have modern toilets. And we also want to use this to educate our people about good practices to keep our toilet clean. And also there are many, many technologies that can help, like saving water, making the toilet odorless, and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of science technology behind, and it's also promoting some kind of more civilized way of looking at toilets. And we want people to look at it seriously.
And this is also the Singapore waste treatment story as well.
Yes, yes. And that's important, especially when it will affect water quality. So if, imagine there's no proper treatment, our water will be contaminated. And we want to bring this seriousness to our audience.
But besides just water quality, there's also the global sanitation crisis that the exhibition will also be talking about. Tell us more about that.
Well, you know, the United Nations SDG, hoping that by 2030, all the places will have proper sanitation facilities. And globally, there are people dying of diseases, infections, parasites, cholera, and so on and so forth, because of poor toilet systems or no toilet at all. So we want to bring about this, and this also, in a way, affect the kind of environmental issue. So it's also about global sustainability.
Yeah, we do perhaps take for granted a bit here in Singapore, quite the state of around the region and around the world that aren't quite as developed when it comes to sanitation.
Yes.
And so then for the future of sanitation then, where do you see us sort of heading? To a lower requirement for water, for example, like the story we had before?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Like the story you had earlier is a good example of how science technology can continue to push a better sanitation. And water is certainly one important aspect. And of course, hygiene. And in the future, you can also imagine toilet can become a biosensor to even detect whether you have diseases or parasites. Because it is possible to implant sensors into the toilet bowl, so to speak, and to give you biomedical early detection. These are all advancements brought about by technology.
It won't be long till there's an app for that as well. Thanks so much, Professor Lim Tit Meng, Chief Executive of the Science Centre Board.